everybody. It is byscreenside slash Kinsey here today, and I have a new speed build for you. This whole thing came out of a suggestion in the comments from a while ago, and it was suggested slash requested that I do a Disney inspired home. And um, yeah, I took that and I ran with it. And obviously, I went more castle with it than like house. Um, but I did want to kind of fulfill that because I brought it up in my video with the Victorian Dream, and I asked, just in the comments for people to talk about like either their favorite Disney movie or their favorite Disney princess. Um, and a lot of you responded to that, and so I was like, well, I mean, if that provokes conversation, that strongly, then I would think that, this would be something that would be interesting for a lot of people. And so yeah, anyway, so I just decided to go with it. That's what sparked this. And I hope that you guys like it because it really, really and truly was a lot of work. This is a two-part video because I'd say all told this build took me around 9 hours or so. Like about maybe even 10. I'm not totally sure. The exterior part that you're going to see in this video, and I did have to cut it down a little bit to, keep this from being like a 50-minute video because all the footage altogether was, I think, just under 50 minutes. So I just kind of cut around some of the stuff because there was a bit of working and reworking to make this how I wanted. And yeah, so but you'll definitely see the majority of the exterior. But this is going to be the exterior. The interior is going to be part two. I think I maybe did do like a few exterior tweaks in the second part, but you're going to see the vast majority of the exterior in this part. Excuse me. So I got choked on my own throat. That's sad. Okay. So when it comes to the exterior, what I did, because it wasn't like a request like, can you build, Cinderella's castle, or can you build, a specific Disney build. It was just Disney inspired. So this is like an amalgamation of several different Disney princesses all wrapped into one. Um, the exterior is very, very much inspired by Cinderella's castle, though. There are definitely elements that are taken directly out of Cinderella's castle. The color scheme and like the big clock on the front of the castle, those are like very much literally Cinderella's castle and not just inspired by it, but the shape of the castle overall, I didn't try and recreate Cinderella's castle specifically. I just used the aesthetic of it very much for the exterior. But there's also in the landscaping very strong Alice in Wonderland kind of thing. So I mean, this lot, it's no joke. If I wouldn't try and run it on a laptop or anything, every inch of this lot more or less is landscaped. There's a lot of furniture. It's the biggest thing I've ever built. It's the most expensive thing I've ever built. It's the most detailed thing I've ever built. So it's the most. It's the most of everything. And so I really, really do hope that you liked it because I worked really hard on it. I'm not 100% sure. I hope I did a good job doing castles and fantasy type builds is definitely out like of my comfort zone. It's yeah, it was a challenge. But I did have fun doing it. It was a lot of work. So, anywho, that being said, um, I was actually I thought it was really interesting because, like, back to talking about how I had asked about what people's favorite Disney movies or princesses were. I was really surprised in by the responses, in that a lot of people, like, it seemed like the majority of the people who answered that question said that Mulan was their favorite of the Disney princesses, which I find really interesting because, well, personally, just for me, because I saw Mulan like when it came out like 100 years ago, and I haven't seen it since, and I don't remember much about it. So I think I might have to like go back and see that one again because you guys endorsed it so strongly. Like, I don't remember disliking it, but I don't remember hugely liking it either. So I don't really have any strong opinions about Mulan, but having seen how many of you guys really like Mulan, I think I'm gonna have to watch it again. I'm gonna have to give it another, gonna have to give it another look. But yeah, my experience with Mulan was I saw it when it came out, which was really long time ago. It was in 1998. I looked it up. And then I remember my high school like choir teacher or chorus. I think we called it chorus, but it's like it wasn't Glee Club specifically, but it was like it was an elective class that we had, so we got to take choir or chorus as an elective. And I think like the teacher that I had in that class maybe knew like four songs because I sang the song from Mulan at least 11 bajillion times, like minimum. Like, so I remember having seen the movie, I have a very vague recollection of it, and then I remember singing that song over and over and over and over for like a year. I think maybe she just like could only play like a few songs on the piano. I've been thinking back to that, thinking about Mulan, and I'm like, why did she never? I mean, she really didn't mix up the songs that we sang very much. It always felt like we were singing the same stuff over and over again. And I don't know if it was just because like she only had the okay from the school to sing like a certain number of songs or to do like a certain number of them, or maybe she just, I don't know, couldn't play them well. I don't know. But I just remember over and over being like, when will my reflection show? That song? Oh yeah. So I sang that song at least a billion times. Um, but I'm putting on these like little spire pieces right now. Those do change later um, to gold because I felt like the gold complemented the like sky blue roofing texture a little bit better and really stood out nicely. So yeah, so that does change. You'll see me like doing those. A lot of actually bits and pieces of the exterior do get changed. I mean, not a ton. You're definitely going to see like most of the final result of the exterior in this video, but I definitely like change a couple things here and there from this video to the next one. But it's all like the whole build is done. It's done. I just have to do the exterior video separately. But I didn't want to like film or didn't want to do the voiceover and record the first video until the entire build was done because yeah, I have a tendency sometimes to start builds and then I do much better if I can do everything in one sitting. Because sometimes I'll start like a rather big build and I'll lose interest in it before I can complete it. So I still have like one outstanding large build that I have to complete and from like back in November, and I still intend to do it, but I just can't like get inspired to do it, or I can't get interested to do it, which is horrible. Like that sounds really terrible, but that's just something for me personally that I mean, this is going to sound like kind of like pretentious, but it's the best way I can think to say it. Like my creative process is just better when I do something from start to finish. This I just couldn't do from start to finish all in one sitting because humans require sleep. And so I had to stop. I had to stop doing it because the exterior took me so long. I was building until like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was just falling asleep almost toward the end. So I had to stop, but I at least was. I mean, I had to plow through until the exterior was done. It's like, okay, I will do the interior tomorrow, and so that's what I've done like most of the day today. And then, so it is all done, and you will definitely be getting the second part of this as soon as I'm able to edit the recording and do the voiceover part. But just know that like it's already done and will be up. I haven't put it up on the gallery yet because I haven't fully play tested it. I've mostly play tested it. I'm confident that it works just fine. I've play tested some of the stuff that I was like, well, I'm not sure. Or anything that I was iffy about has already been play tested. It's just a really big build. And it does turn out to be 7 beds, 7 baths, which was kind of in itself meant to be a Disney reference because obviously the 7 dwarves. Now, like I said, the exterior is very Cinderella influenced and Alice in Wonderland influenced, but the interior has elements of lots of different Disney movies. So there's a little bit of Beauty and the Beast, there's a little more Alice in Wonderland, there's some Sleeping Beauty, there's some Snow White, there's some Little Mermaid. So there's just lots of little references, and different rooms have different themes. So there's a lot of Disney. I just, instead of just trying to recreate like one particular movie or, princess or what have you, I just decided to kind of use all of what I know and do it all at once, under one, all of it under one roof, all in one place, one stop Disney shop. So, yeah, like I think it all told, it turns out really cool in the end. And I, really, really worked the landscaping harder than I've ever done landscaping on a build. So, it's a lot. There's a lot going on with this. This top floor I did, like I took it down like a part of it because one of the limitations and the reason I built down into the ground was that, when you look at a castle, whether it be Cinderella's castle or just about any, with the turrets like the one Cinderella's castle has, and when I say turrets, I mean like the little cylindrical, you know, bits, portions. Those tend to be really varying heights, but with the limitations in The Sims 4 being that there are only 4 floors, and you can't have on one level ever, like, all the walls have to be short on the same level. I mean, at least we have the option to have varying heights per floor, so I can have like a short second floor, a medium third floor, a tall first floor, etc. I can mix it up like that. But, I can't have different height of, turrets on the same level. So that's why I built down into the ground a little bit so I could get some shorter ones, and I took down the top level so that I wanted some of the turrets to stand higher than the rest of the castle. And so that's why I took off that top floor. So there is a fourth floor to this build, but there's only like one little room of fourth floor. But I mean, it's still really big and there's tons of space. And I did 7 bedrooms, but there are other rooms that can easily be converted into additional bedrooms if you have a full household and want to play a full household in this build, or if you if you want to have a servant's room. I did room that one room that is kind of a little bit more plain and not themed in case you have a butler, because this is definitely, if you're playing a game in this build, then this is for, obviously, you know it's very opulent, so this is obviously for very wealthy sims. And I mean, these are certainly the types of sims who would have some servants, so I felt like a servant's room would be appropriate. And there is one bedroom that's on the first floor that's just sort of plain and meant to be assigned to your butler, should you have a butler. And I also did in the back a wedding venue space. So it's built like a house and it's meant to be a house, but if you wanted to use it as a venue, it would be functional as a venue. So, for example, when I do weddings in The Sims, sometimes I will move an entire household to a new lot. Just like the idea that maybe they're vacationing somewhere, or like they're doing like some sort of like a destination wedding or something like that. So I'll take an entire household, and then that way they can, when they do invite other Sims, it can be like more of a private affair. So if you do want to do this as like a storyline where maybe this isn't where your family lives all the time, but maybe they travel to some place special to get married. They could live in this place temporarily, so it could be sort of like, a hotel type thing, like a hotel with a venue. So there is a wedding venue portion of the back in the exterior back, and you'll see that in this video. So you'll see that a little bit later. But yeah, that's another note for you. So if you don't really want to use this as a house, then you can use it as, a temporary, like a short term place for your Sims to stay for a wedding, or even, you could probably, I'm sure it would fulfill the requirements for like a museum lot, or something like that. So you could like set it to museum, or, so there are some other ways to use this build. I wanted it to be as functional as possible because I tend to build things that are meant to be functional, or usable in the game. I don't tend to build a lot of things that are overly themed, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how to say it, but I like for my builds to be useful as possible. So I try to think about, different ways that they can be used. And I thought, if this is a big castle, then that would definitely be another use that I might have. If I was going to download this into my game, then I would love for it to be able to double as a wedding venue. So there's certainly a wedding venue space in this. So, yeah. I'm sorry if I'm not like as super high energy as I normally am. I just, there are two things. I mean, one, I am still a little worn out from just the work that I did on this build, because I mean, I built the exterior last night. Building this exterior was what I was doing 24 hours ago from when I'm recording this voiceover. And I didn't sleep much. So I went to bed around 4ish or 4:30, after finishing the exterior. And then I got back up at around like 8. So I only maybe got like 3.5 hours somewhere in there. I don't remember quite. Like my boyfriend came in and it woke me up. And so I'm running on not very much sleep. And also I made a horrible mistake. I was going through just like the recommended videos on, on YouTube here. And Yeah, I like going through those videos. They're usually pretty good recommendations. And one of them was a video that I don't know, it probably went up sometime today as of the day that I'm recording this, which I mean, it's 1 in the morning right now, and it'll probably be up tomorrow afternoon sometime. It will take a while to get this uploaded into YouTube. Um, so, but anyway, I was watching a one of those YouTubers react videos, and it was YouTubers react to the try not to cry challenge. And I was hovering over the thumbnail, like going, do I want to watch this? Because there's a decent chance that this is going to make me cry, because I am sensitive, and I cry fairly easily at like movies and different things. And I don't know, it's I'm fairly easily triggered, and my little my tear ducts are easily manipulated. I don't know, but so I wound up clicking it. I'm like, oh, I'll watch it, and I think they showed like maybe four different clips of different things. Like one of them was like the end of the Notebook, like that kind of thing. And the first three clips did nothing to me. Like they didn't even tug at my heartstrings even slightly. And I just as I was thinking, I'm a monster, because like the people in the videos that were reacting were crying, and I was like, what's wrong with me? Where's my emotions? And then the fourth video, you guys. And if you, I'm warning you now. Like, if you don't want to cry, don't go watch the video that I'm talking about if you haven't already seen it. Um, and I don't even want to talk about what it was about. Let's just say it was animal related. And the other videos that they had shown the other clips that they had shown were not animal related. And I was just thinking, like, unless they do something animal related, like, this isn't going to get me. And of course, like, the last one was something like related to animals. And as like just within like the first few seconds that like there was a caption that explained like what the video was, I started bawling my eyes out. So whenever like I cry, like I don't know, tell me if you guys if this is just a me thing or if you guys also experience this, but any day, like if I cry at some point during the day, whether it's a happy cry or, just sort of like I saw a sad YouTube clip video cry. I mean, it doesn't have to be something that, like strongly affected my personal life or anything like that. But anytime that I cry in a day, like I have sort of just an icky like I cried today feeling. Tell me if you experience this as well. Like I don't, and I'm not trying, like I'm like just making fun of myself. I mean, I don't, like I'm not trying to be a bummer or anything. I'm not trying to that's why I didn't say what it was that made me cry. I'm just laughing at myself for being like such a baby. But yeah, anytime that I cry, it's like for the rest of the day, no matter what the reason that I cried, I just have this like just sort of like I like just this pit of my stomach feeling like bleh, I cried. Even if it was a happy cry, like just it does something to me physically that just makes me just feel unsettled for the rest of the day. Like I just have this sort of feeling like I cried today. That lingers for some reason. I don't know. I'm just rambling. I don't even know. But that's part of the reason I'm like, "Hi guys, what's going on?" Because I cried like a baby earlier. I mean, just bawled. Ugh, yeah. But you know what? Anything happy or sad, like, have you guys seen the video where it's Christian the Lion, and it's like this really, it's like from the 70s. I mean, like the video itself, I'm sure is, um, I mean, obviously YouTube wasn't around in the 70s, so somebody edited the clip from like I don't know, it was like a Discovery Channel documentary or whatever, but it's about like these two guys in England found a lion cub at like a flea market or something weird like that. I can't remember, but it was like in a cage and it was just like a baby lion cub. And so they bought it and they took it home with them and they raised it. But of course, like it got too big to where like they couldn't keep it in their house anymore or wherever they had it, and they had to, send it to a like a reserve, like a nature reserve in Africa. And they were away from, I'm almost getting teared up like just thinking about the clip. But um but like, so they have to like take the lion to live in Africa, at a reserve, and it's like they didn't get a chance to go back and see the lion again for like 2 years, and you just have to see this video. So like they go back to visit him again, and the people that worked in the reserve were like, don't, be surprised if he doesn't react or doesn't remember you. And like the video, like they go there and they like have to search him down, but when they find it, like the lion totally remembers them and like runs over to them and like hugs them. Hugs, like it jumps up and puts its front paws on their shoulders and it's so happy to see, and I just like just like bawling, weeping, like nothing else. And it doesn't help that whoever edited this video, like at least the original one that I saw, edited in Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You. And I'm like, dude, that's so emotionally manipulative. I'm really gonna cry a lot. Of course. But yeah, I'm a marshmallow, like I'm a total weenie. So that's a fun fact about me. Um, yeah, I'm such a baby. Anyway, this lot has a really fun, and I say fun in quotes because I mean it sarcastically, but it has this where you can see like there are like little like flaws in the ability to put flooring down so it's not completely flat or something, and it doesn't matter like, and it's done this for me in every save when I've ever built on this lot ever. Like it's just there are just little broken pieces of flooring where flooring just won't go down. And if you like try and put it down, like you're like, okay, I'm gonna put it down in that spot where it's not going, then it'll delete the flooring in another spot. So I had to kind of like work around that. And so if you're wondering like why I put the flooring down or put the path as I did, it was just kind of work around that little idiosyncrasy with that lot. As far as I know, I think that might be the only lot that really has that issue, but I'm not sure. It's the only one I can really remember that happening. On the front there, where you see the little arches, there are doors there currently behind those arches, but that changed when I did the interior because it just, on the exterior, I thought it looked really good because I liked the gold accents on those doors and I thought they looked really nice with the gold roof accents and spires and everything. But on the interior, when I did the interior, I mean, they were just. I had a feeling it was going to be a problem when I was doing the exterior that I wasn't. I was like, there's just going to be like just way too many doors on this floor. It's just not even going to make any sense. Like, I really liked the way it looked on the exterior, but I knew it was going to be a mess in the interior. So those do get changed back to the stained glass windows from Get Together, which I'm, it was a compromise because those windows, I would have preferred not to use them because there's no swatch that doesn't have black in like around the stained glass. So it was kind of a compromise. I actually this is the first time I considered like making custom content for a build. And this is where, by the way, I'm just going to digress for a second because I want to make sure that I point out this is where the Alice in Wonderland influence starts to come in. So I did put like a little wishing well on the corner back there. And then just in a moment, you'll see the little bit of Alice in Wonderland start to take shape. These little things from the Romantic Garden Stuff pack, those like flat bushes. When we first got this pack, which has been probably like a year now, because I remember it came out in February of last year, I said, I will never use those things. I will not get any use out of them. And yep, so I'm eating my words now because they perfectly covered the foundation, and I could not get a foundation that really made me happy. So we definitely really need foundation textures, more of them in the game. So yeah, this is what was Alice in Wonderlandy to me. And this is like I did like a checker pattern in the grass, or like a chessboard pattern in the grass. And the thought behind that was when you see very a lot of times very like fancy houses or mansions in the grass, they'll be so perfectly manicured, so like excellently landscaped, that there'll be perfect diagonals in the grass. So like some golf courses or really nice houses have those, beautifully manicured diagonal grass patterns in them. And those, it's really difficult to try and recreate those and not, and like make them perfect and not mess those up. But I thought to use the grid and do that checkerboard, and then I really liked it. And it very much reminded me of Alice in Wonderland because obviously there's so much like of references to like chess and like games, like card games and stuff, because obviously, like the Queen of Hearts and everything. So I really thought that that looked pretty and different and awesome, and I'm really thrilled with it. I don't know how you guys would feel about it, but I liked it. And this little section here is the wedding venue part that I was speaking of earlier. But yeah, now I can't remember what I was talking about before. Yep, nope, I've lost it. Anyway, so yeah, then I did this little section, and there I put in like a banquet table and two bars, and I just kind of put them that way for symmetry, but I did change them up in the when I did the interior later on. So you won't see that in this video, but it does change just a little bit because I felt it was just a little bit too overworked to have those two bars. The bars do move, and there's an appropriate section for those later on, but this will change just a touch later on because I just felt like it was a little bit too busy in that section of the yard. But yeah. Okay, now I remember like what I was talking about earlier, which was the custom content thing. I've only recently just learned how to make it. So I've like just how to do recolors. It was something that I've been needing to get around to learn how to do, and I've tried a couple of times but quickly lost patience with it because it just didn't mean that much. Like it wasn't a strong priority, but I just kind of got a wild hair to try it again and check out some YouTube tutorials, and I was like, oh, I could probably do this. So I've done a few recolors and things, but I've always, while I don't mind at all using Create a Sim custom content, because I see like building's my speed. Building is the thing that I like to do most of all in The Sims. I mean, I like to play it, obviously, but I've never used custom content because I don't want it to be like, here's this thing that I built, and you can download this build here, and then you have to go download this here, and this here, and this here, and so on and so forth. So I don't use them in builds traditionally, but I had actually considered because I really wanted, because I worked so hard on this, I wanted it to be as perfect as I could possibly make it. So I thought about getting or like making some curtains that matched a little bit better than what I wanted and or what I had available, and also like those windows, like I said, I don't care for the black in the windows. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of that. Like, do you mind builders using custom content? Because I always have. I don't even actually, like, this is awful, but I don't even watch build videos if I see that there's custom content in the videos because I just don't want the hassle of having to like go hunt down all the custom content, and I don't want a bunch of build and buy custom content because if I even download it, if I even get it into the game, I know I'm going to be tempted to use it. So let me know. I mean, if you guys would really like to see me do a build with custom content, then I would consider it. So, but we're actually getting ready to come up on the end of the exterior. I really hope that you've enjoyed this build. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have enjoyed it, please leave me a like. And if you're not a subscriber, then you can go ahead and click the subscribe button for me. That'd be awesome. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Take care. See you next time. Bye.